Hello, welcome to the Managing Drought in the Southern Plains Drought Briefing. This is part of a regular webinar and briefing series offered by the Southern Climate Impacts Planning Program in association with NIDIS, NOAA, and the National Drought Mitigation Center. We have full briefings on a range of topics on the second Thursday of each month. You can go to southernclimate.org to register for these. We will not be doing one on January 11th or January 10th, but we will do one in the future. So here's what's going on this week. We have some, of course, widespread extreme to exceptional drought continues across the region. There's been some improvement in the southeast and as well as western Louisiana. One thing that's different is we've seen a large expansion in snow cover that's allowing some of the cold air to come in. There's some rain in the forecast for next week, which is good news, and perhaps a possible winter storm looming on the horizon. First, when we talk about drought, we often talk about these categories and may not be apparent exactly what we're talking about. So this shows kind of what the return period or frequency of these things are. When we talk about extreme or exceptional drought, you can see that's about a 20 or 50 year occurrence, about once in a generation on average. So these are really extreme conditions that we're talking about. Here's the national map. It looks much the same as it has for quite some time now, with a large area stretching from South Dakota down into Texas as well as New Mexico, and then that area that's still holding on in the southeast. In our region, there has been some improvement in western Louisiana. It's almost now out of the D1 through D4, the drought categories, but it's still hanging in place in Oklahoma especially, as well as the Texas Panhandle. As we go further north, not much change again in Nebraska, especially, is having the worst of it, although they have gotten more snow cover recently. And North Dakota is still hanging in there with a little bit of better conditions. The reason, of course, is rainfall departures. The storms continue to go along the southern track there from mostly from Louisiana, southern Arkansas, eastward towards the Atlantic coast. And then as we go longer terms, we see 60 days, 6 months, we can see a lot of reds and oranges showing these large deficits that we've been having out for quite some time. As I mentioned, snow cover has increased quite a bit. The upper image shows the snow cover on December 15th, and the lower snow cover is from today. Lower image is snow cover from today, and you can see a large expansion of 4 to 8 inches now on average across Kansas and Nebraska. And as the snow's been pushing south, it's allowing the cold air to remain in place a little bit longer. Last year, this time, snow cover was almost non-existent all the way up into the Dakotas and Minnesota. As we're looking ahead now, the next few days, we can see that rain developing in eastern Texas and southeast Oklahoma, with amounts of perhaps a couple of inches or more, forecast in a large area of over half an inch looking likely across our region. And temperatures should be pretty much near normal. It's going to be fairly typical for this time of year. But beyond that, as we look 8 to 14 days into the next week, we see some cold air becoming entrenched across the western U.S., and that'll spread eastward, and some precipitation chances off to the east. Now, there is a chance here around the 13th for possibly development of a winter storm somewhere in the eastern part of this region. As we look beyond this, the 3-month outlook, this has not been updated yet. This will come out in the next couple of weeks, but showing that kind of warm pattern continuing, although actually now there's some indications that late January looks to be pretty cold. The drought outlook, again, not much change in there, some improvement looking in the east where those storm tracks have been trending, and hopefully bring them some relief, but not good news here for the winter time for us as we head towards spring. As always, these resources are posted on several sites. The southernclimate.org SCIP website has all of this information online, as well as YouTube. These are posted on our YouTube channel there as well. There's also the US Drought portal, and you can find a wealth of information there, or contact the National Drought Mitigation Center. And please let us know how things are going in your area. We wish you a very good week, and we'll see you again back here Friday, January.